the changing world order. The times ahead will be vastly different from what we've known in our lives, yet they've echoed through history many times before. How can I say that? Because that's how it's always been. In my 50 years navigating global markets, I've faced shocks that caught me off guard. They hit hard because they'd never happened to me before. Those tough lessons drove me to explore 500 years of history. I found patterns repeating, the rises and falls of empires like the Dutch, British, and American ones. Each shift marked a new world order. What I learned became timeless principles. I'll share them here, distilled for you. For the full story, check my book, Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order. Let me start with how it all began for me, learning to foresee the future by understanding the past. Back in 1971, I was a young clerk on the New York Stock Exchange floor. Suddenly, the US ran out of money and defaulted. Yes, America defaulted. How did that happen? Gold was the real money for global deals back then. Dollars were like checks, promises redeemable for gold. But the US spent far more than it earned, issuing dollars without enough gold to back them. As people cashed in those dollars for gold, reserves shrank. It was clear, promises couldn't be kept. Holders rushed to exchange before it was too late. Then, on a Sunday evening, August 15th, President Nixon addressed the nation. He announced the US would no longer convert dollars to gold. He framed it as protecting the dollar from speculators. But it was a default, plain and simple. I was stunned. Money as we knew it was changing. I braced for a market crash. But when trading opened, stocks soared, up nearly 25% in the weeks ahead. That baffled me. I'd never seen a currency devaluation. So I dug into history. And there it was, the same in 1933. Dollars tied to gold, reserves running low from overspending. President Roosevelt broke the link, announcing it on radio as part of rebuilding the economy. In both cases, delinking from gold let the US print more dollars to keep spending. More dollars, no more wealth. Value dropped. Those dollars flowed into stocks, gold, commodities. Prices rose. History showed this pattern repeating endlessly. When governments overspend and hit hard times, they print money. Lots of it. Currency falls. Assets like stocks, gold, commodities climb. Here's a key principle. When central banks print big to ease a crisis, buy stocks, gold, commodities. Their value rises as paper money falls. We saw it in 2008's debt crisis, 2020's pandemic. It'll happen again. Keep this in mind. This taught me another principle. To grasp what's coming, study what came before. It helped me spot the 1920s bubble turning to 1930s depression. That foresight let me navigate the 2007 bubble to 2008 crash. It became instinct. Look back to handle what's ahead wisely. Over recent years, 3 shifts unseen in my lifetime spurred this deeper study. First, nations couldn't pay debts even with zero interest rates. Central banks printed massively. Second, internal divides grew from wealth and value gaps. It fueled populism, left pushing redistribution, right defending holdings. Third, rising powers clashed with established ones, like China challenging the US. I looked back. These converged many times, leading to reordered worlds. Last big one, 1930-1945. What is an order? It's how we govern relations. Within countries via constitutions, between via treaties. Orders shift after wars, civil for internal, international for global. Revolutions topple weak systems. The US order started post-1776 revolution, endured a civil war. Russia's changed in 1917, then 1991. China's in 1949 after Civil War. The current world order, American-led, emerged post-Bourgeois, US dominant, setting global rules via treaties like Bretton Woods in 1944. Dollar became top reserve currency. A reserve currency? Accepted worldwide, key to empire status. It draws wealth, power, new system. A timeless big cycle begins. I'll sketch it quick, then expand. For depth, my book. Studying top empires over 500 years. Dutch and guilder, British and pound, US and dollar, China's arcs. Plus others like Spanish, Ottoman. Focused on Big Four, Dutch, British, US, Chinese. Patterns clear. Cycles overlap about 250 years each with 10-20-year transitions, often conflictual as powers fight decline. How measure power? 8 keys. Education, innovation, competitiveness, output, trade share, military, financial center, reserve currency strength. Average, they show rise, peak, fall. Measurable, so we track trends. Typical cycle. Starts post-war with new leader, new order. Peace follows, no challenges. Prosperity builds, bets on continuity grow. Borrowing rises, bubbles form. Trade expands, currency becomes reserve, enabling more debt. Wealth gaps widen, bubbles burst, money printing follows. Internal conflicts erupt, revolutions redistribute. Power wanes relative to rivals, external wars loom. Winners reshape order, cycle restarts. These links drove empires from Roman times onward. Stories blend like life's chapters. No two identical, but driven by logic, from birth to maturity to decline. Like human lifespan, average 80 years, but health matters more. Same for empires. Watch vital signs for longevity. Now, deeper into the big cycle. Give me 20 minutes. I'll walk 500 years. Patterns in Dutch, British, US, Chinese. The typical cycle: rise, top, decline. Rise. New orders from revolutionary leaders. Win support, consolidate power, build systems, choose successors wisely. Post-victory, peace, prosperity. No fights against strong rule. Key: strong education. Not just skills, but character, ethics. From families, schools, faith. Fosters order, low corruption, unity. Shift to innovation. Dutch beat Habsburgs, invented ships, capitalism, funding global voyages. Open to global ideas. Productivity soars, trade share grows. US, China comparable now. Protect roots, build military. Income funds, education, infrastructure. Incentivize wealth makers via capitalism. Even China under Deng. Glorious to be rich. Develop markets, lending, bonds, stocks. Dutch pioneered public companies, exchanges. Financial centers emerge. Amsterdam then, New York now, China rising. Government, business, military align. Dutch East India, monopoly, own army. British, US, Chinese followed. Trade dominance, currency as exchange medium, then saving store, reserve status. Guilder, pound, dollar. Borrowing edge, lend to empire. When short, print, but bubbles start. This path, all top empires followed. Top phase, strengths hold, but decline seeds sow. Higher earnings make less competitive. Rivals copy tech. Workers demand less. Leisure rises, sometimes decadence. Generations soften from fighters to inheritors. Bets on good times. More borrowing bubbles. Wealth gaps grow. Rich reinforce advantages. Better schools, politics. Resentments build. But if most rise, no boil over. Reserve currency. Overspending. Debts to poorer savers. US from China in 80s, British from colonies. Empire maintenance costly. Wars, bureaucracy. Dutch overextended. British arms race to WWI. US trillions post 9/11. Borrowing from poor, early shift sign. Lenders fade. Selling starts, decline begins. Decline. Internal weakness, fights, external costs. Gradual, then sudden. Debts mount, downturn hits, can't borrow, bubble bursts. Print money, devalues, inflates. Dutch post-war, British post-World War II, US cycles since 90s. Bad economy, gaps, extremism rises, left redistributes, right holds. Taxes up on rich, they flee, hollowing out. Productivity drops, pie shrinks, more fights. Populists promise order. Democracy strains, strong leaders emerge. Conflicts escalate to revolution. Peaceful like Roosevelt's, or violent like French, Russian, Chinese. Weakens versus rivals. Challenges grow. Military costs soar when least affordable. No peaceful adjudication. Power tests, wars. Wars costly, but realign orders. Reserve loss. Sell-offs end cycle. Most currencies devalued or gone. Dutch post-war run. British post-war US. Not yet, but debts, printing, conflicts brewing. Winners restructure. New order. Cycle renews. That's the big picture. Timeless, just outfits and tech change. Where next? Empires rise, shine, decline. Reversing? Tough, but possible. Vital signs show stage, fitness, trajectory. Estimate years left imprecisely. Extend by heating signs improving. Nation's big war, often internal, making hard choices to sustain. What to do? Simple. Earn more than spend. Treat each other well. All else, education, innovation serves these. Measure them easily. Like fitness. Get on the program, boost vitals, alone and together. I share this to help see our spot, face challenges, decide wisely. For more, my book. Join at economicprinciples.org social media. Thanks. May evolution's force guide you.